All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is not a happy day in the city of South Bend. In many ways, this is hopefully a low point for Congress in that the federal government remains shut down. And today, the first amount of payments to families here in South Bend and across the country are officially late. They missed payments for critical nutrition assistance for our families here in South Bend and families across the country. And this, in effect, has generated a food emergency in our city and around the country. And the question is, the first and foremost, as I've said from the beginning, the only real solution and sustainable solution to this is for Congress to reopen the federal government. This is the simplest part. I mean, they've got to do their jobs. Keeping the lights on is the lowest bar to pass. And already we have the longest federal shutdown in history of this country. And in many ways, the reason why we've never gotten this far before is because essential programs like this start to get hit as this shutdown extends for this long period of time. So Congress has to find a way to get past partisan gridlock to just reopen the government. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to agree on everything. They don't have to agree on the full year. They just got to open the doors for a few weeks to get our troops paid, our federal workers paid, our air traffic controllers paid, and our families to receive the assistance they need to keep their families fed. And so in response to this emergency that is totally avoidable, and there is just unconscionable that elected officials would allow partisan rankering or brinkmanship to put families, wondering where they're going to how they're going to put food on the table, how they're going to decide to pay their bills of basic needs. The city and I have issued an executive order today declaring a local disaster emergency. And in this local disaster emergency, the city will suspend utility shutoffs for utility assistance program recipients for 3 months, so through February 5th, 2026. And so what this does is basically anybody who qualifies for the SNAP benefits at the federal level qualifies for utility assistance programs. So that's one of the questions, is how do we direct relief to the folks impacted by this inaction by our federal government. And so that's first and foremost. Obviously, part of this could be mitigated if the administration would utilize emergency funds that the court had talked about or issued and directed them to use to continue providing payments this month while the shutdown continues. Or it could be mitigated if the state, like other states who administer the federal program on behalf of the federal government, decided to put money, and they would be putting money at risk because there's no guarantee the federal government would reimburse them, but they could direct benefits directly to SNAP benefits or to SNAP recipients, but the city cannot. We do not administer the program. We do not have that capability to transfer dollars onto those households who qualify for this program into their accounts. But what we can do is we know that those folks who utilize our utility assistance program are very much the same set of families who rely on these federal benefits. And so this 3-month moratorium, hopefully, as I said, the only sustainable solution is for Congress to reopen the government and get these federal benefits going again. But the hope is that they're not going to have to decide between paying their water bill at the end of this month or the end of next month, or buying food for their family. And again, we still hope any day now there will be a breakthrough in Congress and this emergency can be ended. In addition, the city has identified already appropriated dollars in 2025. We're very appreciative of our food banks and our nonprofits rallying the community together to face this emergency and confront the issues facing our families. And so the city has identified $70,000 that will go toward the food bank and other agencies, 50,000 of which is supported by the administration, and you'll hear where the other 20,000 has been identified from. In addition, the city has gotten pledged commitments from local philanthropies and nonprofits for an additional $55,000 toward this emergency food assistance here locally. This is not a replacement for this federal program. We are not able to backstop federal programs. We need the federal government to reopen now, immediately, but nevertheless, we hope that this, between the moratorium on shutoffs that provides some flexibility to those families in need, as well as this support for our local agencies who are on the front lines providing assistance to our residents, that this will help us bridge to the reopening of our federal government. And I do want to mention that there are folks who qualify for our utility assistance program who are not enrolled. And so this is a program you have to enroll in. So we encourage any SNAP recipient who is not currently enrolled in our utility assistance program to please enroll. You can enroll by calling 311 or going to our website, southbendin.gov/UAP. With that, I'm going to turn it over here to our Common Council President, Kenneth Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Kenneth Lee. I'm president of the South Bend Common Council, and on behalf of my council colleagues who are here today, at large Vice President Rachel Tomas Morgan and 2nd District Councilwoman Ophelia Gooden Rogers, I come before you today with a message of hope, unity, and immediate action. No family in South Bend should go hungry because of a temporary disruption in federal aid. The city and the Common Council are working together to ensure immediate local support for those who need it the most. I'm thankful to my council colleagues who have been championed for ways we can assist the residents of South Bend during this crisis. Let me share some truths with you. Here in our metro area of South Bend, Mishawaka, we see that in 2024, approximately 28,000 people were receiving food stamps assistance, representing about 4.6 of the households in the area. Even more locally, while official figures show 1.8% of households in the city reported food stamp receipt in the last year, there are many neighbors or many neighborhoods who are affected. And so these numbers tell a story that tell us that although many of our neighbors are working hard and doing all they can, they're still vulnerable to shock in federal programs or sudden disruptions. And it's our duty as elected officials and leaders, as community members and as neighbors, to help. Now again, we cannot sustain this, but during this time and during the suspension of these benefits, we're here to help. So here's what we're doing. We're partnering with the city and the Common Council and the clerk's office. Again, the mayor said the city has allocated $50,000. As a council, we found $10,000, and the clerk's office has found $10,000 that we will be joining with our partners, the Food Bank and Cultivate and other businesses have joined to allocate emergency local funds and partner with trusted organizations to distribute food and resources to those impacted by this disruption. We want to call on the community to make sure if there are people who are in need, we're going to be working to make sure that information is out there where people can get help and assistance from. And again, to all families watching today, if you're anxious, if your food assistance benefits have been delayed or interrupted, please know you're not alone, because we are not leaving you alone. We care. As a city, we care about the residents who are being affected. This is unfair. This is not right. And so we're doing what we can to help individuals in our community. And to all of my colleagues in government, let decent and humanity govern your hearts. Thank you to the businesses and faith communities and nonprofits. We all know that this will be a challenging time, but thank you for answering the call. We're only as strong as the community we build together, and let's be that community. So today I repeat with conviction, no family in South Bend should ever have to worry about where they're going to get a meal from. And so we're here to help and we're here to assist. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless South Bend.
And at this time, I'll have Director of Public Works, Eric Horvath, for some remarks about the UAP.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Kenneth and Mayor. I'm just going to reiterate some of the points that the Mayor made about the program itself. So again, the Utility Assistance Program is a program that if you're within 80% of the area median income, you will qualify for some assistance from the city on your utility bill, up to a $25.50 discount on your utility bill every single month. In addition, as the Mayor mentioned, starting today and going through February 5th, we will suspend any shutoffs if you're in that utility assistance program. But this is really important, is that you need to be in the program and you need to apply to be able to be in the program. But as the Mayor said, if you meet the requirements for SNAP, you will meet the utility assistance requirements. It's very simple to sign up. You can go on southbendin.gov/UAP. You can do an online form. If you'd rather, you can call 311 or come into the city offices in our new location on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Walk right in and you can sign up there. There'll be some questions on income that you'll need to certify to, attest to, and then we'll get you signed up and you'll be eligible. Last thing I'll say is, on a related note, to keep in mind that Real Services also does an energy assistance program for electric and energy assistance. Sorry, Jeff, missed that. That they can sign up on Real Services site. And so make sure that we're trying to get the word out both for the South Bend Utility Assistance Program. They can go on our website and look it up, or call 311, or go to Real Services for the energy assistance programs. Thank you.
Yep, go right ahead. All right, and at this time, for a couple of remarks, we'll bring up Food Bank of, not yet, the Food Bank will come up, the Goodwill Industries of Michiana CEO and President, Debbie Coble, please.
Good afternoon. It is a sad day that we need to be here talking about this, and so when Goodwill got the call, though, we were happy to respond to help out the community. For those of us who think of Goodwill just as a store, we really are about serving our most vulnerable folks in our community. And so along with this, what I would also say is, if you find yourself on SNAP because of a job loss, please come in and see us. The basic work that Goodwill does is helping individuals get ready to go to work and find jobs so that they are able to care for themselves and their families. So while we are happy to be a part of this, we want to be a help to beyond this crisis that we're in right now. So thank you.
And at this time, we will have Food Bank of Northern Indiana Executive Director and CEO, Mary Jo.
Thank you. It is a sad day indeed, but frankly, it's been sad with the work that we do for the entire year. So in the month of October, our on-site food pantry, Community Food Pantry of St. Joseph County, which is the largest pantry in our network, saw 4,100 plus households. That has been the largest amount of people in the past 5 years. And the lines are long. I would encourage people who need food assistance, go to our website, feedindiana.org. We list all of the pantries in our network. The food bank has decided to open our on-site pantry for an extra day during the shutdown. We will be open Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will be doing more mobile distributions. There's an area on our website. People can find that information. And we would encourage people that need help to call us, and we will put them in touch with pantries and help where we can. Thank you.
And before we open it up to media questions, I did want to go ahead and let everyone know, in case you did not know already, that we do have a web page available. This web page has a lot of resources that the community can go to find your local pantries and other resources to help you in your time of need. That web link is southbendin.gov/support. This list is ever changing, so as soon as we learn of more resources, that will also be updated to that web page as well. Also to media, we will also have a press release with all the information that has been spoken of today. That will be released shortly afterwards. And I guess at this time, I'll go ahead and open up to any media questions.
Mayor Mueller, I have a question. Previously, the city said that they did not have the resources to fill the role of government-supported programs. What changed now that you guys are donating and giving them the money?
Nothing's changed. Like I said, we do not have the resources to backfill a federal program or backfill the federal government. And this, let's make no mistake, this does not replace the need for Congress to act and act immediately to reopen the government and restore these essential benefits to our residents. So that hasn't changed. The other thing that's changed is this crisis, this emergency, could have been averted at any point in the last few days. A federal judge issued that the Department of Agriculture should utilize emergency funds that are sitting there, that are able to be used to continue payments while Congress finds a way forward to get the government back open. So had they done that, we wouldn't be here today. Or had the state figured out a way to identify state funds to temporarily backfill this program, we wouldn't be here today. So really, this is the last gasp. Today, families are going without their scheduled payments. This is the day when families start to lose. Not every family that's eligible for this program, but families start to lose benefits today. And every couple days, more and more families are going to have missed payments because the federal government remains shut down. So that's why we're here today. We're doing what we can. We think this addresses a part of it, but we've said from the beginning, we cannot replace the federal government. We cannot backstop federal programs.
Thank you. And you might have already answered this, but with the traffic going, do you know about how many families in South Bend rely on SNAP benefits right now, and how much this will help?
We have, this is from census estimates. This is an important question of, why can't you just theoretically give money to those in SNAP? We don't have, this isn't our program, it's a federal program that is then administered through the state, the FSSA at the state level. So we don't have that full information. There are estimates in the census, the American Community Survey, and there's a little art to it because the questions that are asked there versus what the reality is. But we're talking about 10 or so thousand households, and a household is around just over 2 on average per household. So we're talking about a significant percentage of South Bend's population of roughly 105,000. You guys, that's pretty easy math, right? We're close to 100,000, 100, and you're in the 15 to 20,000 range. So that's a big percentage of our city's population, and hence the reason why we have declared a food emergency today.
Yeah. And what has it been like in your office? Have you been getting inundated with calls, emails? What has the response been from the community with these concerns since day to day they don't get their payments?
Well, we all were hoping there'd be a way to avert this crisis. We all were hoping that this would finally be the thing that broke the partisan gridlock. I can't remember a time. We've had shutdowns in the past, but we've never allowed food assistance to lapse. And that is why we're saying this is a low day for Congress. We hope this is the low point for Congress and the federal government, because we haven't agreed to pay our troops. Air traffic controllers are maybe having to look for other jobs because they're not getting their pay. They're working, but they're not getting their paychecks. So our flight systems are getting disrupted. Our whole economy, our whole system is getting disrupted because both sides, honestly, are using this as a political football, and using families as a political football is just wrong.
Just one thing, the moratorium on water cutoffs, you said 3 months, but will that be ending if the shutdown ends before, like the shutdown ends next week? moratorium and end to it?
For now, we are going to, our intent is we've instilled this moratorium to provide this flexibility for families, and we do not intend to revoke that moratorium now that it's announced. If that makes sense. Now, we do hope we can end the local disaster emergency. I hope I could end it today. I hope Congress would go past this and these benefits would be restored immediately. So I'm hoping to end the emergency as quickly as possible. But this moratorium will stand, because once you provide that flexibility, you don't want to then pull the rug out from under families who have made this plan and then now it changes. So again, we don't have, that's not information we have, the data on the SNAP program, but it's households, I believe, A through D, last name, first letter of last name. And so I think they start payments on the 5th of the month, and then the last group is the 23rd of the month, and every couple of days there's another group. So that's, that's 9 or 10 groups. So of the total we talked about earlier, you divide by 9 or 10. Is the rough math.
How long do you expect this funding to last for the people of South Bend, and would you give more if it continues, the shutdown continues?
I mean, we're on a broken record here. I mean, if you think about, I mean, there are multiple questions embedded in that question. I have to assume, and at this point it's hard to assume, but Congress will reopen the government by Thanksgiving, so by the end of the month. I hope this week, but and if they do so, not all of the households will have missed payments theoretically. Then there's the question of do back payment. I assume, again, it's hard to. In normal days, you could assume Congress would give back pay to folks, but we would assume they would give back pay. And so once they do that, they've been quote made whole. The benefit of households not having to pay their utility bill for three months, again, it has to be backfilled at some point by the federal government. But a bill is over $80, $90 a month on average, and so 3 months would be. You're making me do the math here. Depending on 240 to 270, depending on your usage. So, this is more than this is in excess of a lot of folks' benefits for a month. So this does give them a bridge, does give them flexibility, but at the end of the day, for this to work for our families, the federal government has to reopen and for these missed payments, has to deliver these missed payments. What's that? So this is, these would be out of utility funds, and they're deferred payments. So are you talking about the utility funds or the funds for the food bank?
I'm talking about the money that's coming from the city and the council.
Oh, so those are from, we did have a food security program within the Department of Community Investment. So there are funds, the $50,000 is coming from those, and then the $10,000 from the council and the clerk. I don't know explicitly which line item that comes out of, but their budget is, out of all the department's budgets, their budget is fairly straightforward and simple. So it's fair to say, other than their salaries, it would come out of the non-personnel and salary funds.
What's that food security fund usually for?
Well, it's one we use for the Linden Avenue Farmers Market, among other things. And so we know that even outside of an emergency such as this, food security is still an issue and a priority that we need to make progress on. So that's why there already is that existing fund, and fortunately we were able to repurpose some of those funds for this purpose here, given the emergency.
So it's not coming from the general rainy day fund? I know there was some talk about that happening last week.
We've never touched the rainy day fund, as we've made, and so that's never been touched. We don't have any intent of ever touching that. It's a complicated question because it comes from our operating fund, but they're appropriated dollars. I don't know if that helps answer your question.
So just because of the traffic, I just want to make sure I understand. So 50,000 from the city, 10,000 from council, 10,000 from the clerk's office, and an additional 55,000 from philanthropic partners.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Philanthropic and nonprofits like Goodwill here. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying.
Any other questions? Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.